Greetings everyone, it's Kenji here and welcome to Life of Clay. Today we will going to sculpt the murderous Asian giant hornet, Vespa mandarinia. And if you like my sculpting tutorials like this one, please consider subscribing and at the same time, turn on that notification bell icon so you will be notified whenever a new video is up. So, come bring the clay on and let's get stung. I draw a quick sketch of the hornet to observe all the details visually because at the moment I'm not able to find a live specimen for reference. I build the armature by using a 1mm stainless steel wire, bending it, adding epoxy and wrap the head and thorax section with aluminum foil. We can now start sculpting the head, cover it with a thin sheet of clay and shape it, paying attention to all the details including the two compound eyes, ocelli, mandibles, and the antennae sockets.
The Asian giant hornet Vespa mandarinia, including the color form referred to as the Japanese giant hornet, is the world's largest hornet. The media nicknamed them as murder hornet, a species in the genus Vespa, which comprises all true hornets. They are native to temperate and tropical East Asia, South Asia, Mainland Southeast Asia, and parts of the Russian Far East, and found in the Pacific Northwest of North America in the late 2019. They prefer to live in low mountains and forests, while almost completely avoiding plains and high-altitude climates. They create nests by digging, co-opting pre-existing tunnels dug by rodents, or occupying spaces near rotted pine roots. They feed primarily on larger insects, colonies of other eusocial insects, tree sap, and honey from the honeybee colonies, and even to their own kind. They have the body length of 1 3/4 inches, a wingspan around 3 inches, and the stingers around 1/4 inch long, which injects a large amount of potent venom. And now that the head is done, let us now cure it using heat gun. We can now proceed in sculpting the thorax. Same method is applied, adding details including the carapace, joints of the wings, and all the coccyx. And then poking the areas for the legs and wings. And again, cure the thorax using heat gun. Next is sculpting her abdomen. Trim the excess wire and bend it, applying 2 parts epoxy, bulk with aluminum foil, and secure with masking tape. Now cover it with a thin sheet of clay and form it based on the reference, adding segments and poke hole for her stinger. Brush it with alcohol to smooth out and cure with the same method.
I use bronze wire for the legs and antennae. Bend and trim them according to their proper proportion. And plastic bristles for the stinger and spines on her legs. I coat the wires with resin and sprinkle with sand to add tooth to the wires so clay will cling steadily while sculpting them, and then set them aside to cure. First, sculpting her antennae. I use Sculpting Premo translucent for them so they can be flexible. Next is sculpting the legs. I form small pieces of clay according to each segment size and shape, make a shallow incision halfway through, and wrap to the wire and shape them, paying attention to all the details including the trochanter, femur, patella, tarsus, claws, and the spines. Now that all the parts are done, let us now do the final baking, including the hornet body, to complete the curing process. Drilling all the poke holes and insert all the parts using 2 parts epoxy and liquid epoxy. Now let's go and paint it. For the abdomen and head, I used plain bus yellow as the base color. Did several coatings of it until the clay underneath is no longer visible. Next is painting the thorax and the other dark colored parts with the mix of burnt sienna and black. And for the second layer of paint, I added little amount of bright red to the bus yellow. And for the dark paint, I increased the volume of the burnt sienna to give it a reddish dark brown color, painting the antennae, eyes, and the stripes on her abdomen with this paint mix as well. And to give her the fiery warm striking coloration, I made a wash of acrylic medium burnt sienna, bass yellow, and bright red mix, almost transparent in consistency, and I painted the specific areas with this mixture. And adding black to the wash mixture for the darker lines and crevices on her face. Her eyes has brownish dots inside them, so burnt sienna is what I used for this. Dry brushing the lower part of her legs and some parts of her thorax carapace with a mix of bass yellow, burnt sienna, and bright red mix. And finally, we can now seal it with varnish. I used 3 types, the ultra matte, satin, and the gloss. Applying resin on her eyes and set aside to cure. I used my silicone and cornstarch mold recipe for her wings. I sculpt them on the dough and let it cure. I used 2 parts resin mixed with alcohol inks of red, yellow, and brown to produce an amber colored wings. Then pour into the mold, adding a more darker colored resin mix to the base of each wings and position the wires on them. Set aside to cure. And now it's time for unmolding. Using my mini hand grinder, I reduce the thickness and add some veins on them. Using a very thin brush, apply dark colored resin to the groove of the veins and set aside them to cure. And lastly, give them a final thin coat of clear resin. And to finalize her and to complete the package, let us now add her wings. And there it is, the Asian giant hornet is finally done. I hope you enjoyed the whole process and the hornet itself. Your support guys is very much appreciated, so if you like more sculpting videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell icon so you won't miss out any of my sculpting videos. And I want you to know that I'm taking note all your suggestions and requests guys. Thank you again for watching and may you have a great day everyone.